Hello, good morning, everyone. Yeah, if you can hear me, probably you can raise your hands in the chat box so that I know you can hear me loud and clear. We are going to start our webinar on time because we have 1 hour's time management. Yeah, I'm going to start now. Yeah, so can everyone hear me? Oh yeah, I see the hands. Thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar of how open collaboration unlock agility and drive business value. Ladies and gentlemen, the world has just recovered from the deep impact brought by COVID-19. Many lives lost, many companies closed down. However, there are also many businesses with greater success because of their digital transformation initiative. So we are now in the new normal lifestyle, hybrid working model, mixtures of work from home versus office is the trend beyond. So how can we ensure the business productivity remain and the performance of our employees are well managed? This is where we need a greater tools to help us to manage the people, process in achieving our business goal. Yeah. So today we have our distinguished consultants, Mr. Nigel and Engel, the solution engineers from Atlassian, the principal of Jira and Confluence, and my colleagues, Mr. Rizwan Hasan, Mr. Rizwan Hasan, the consulting team lead of Adaptavist UK, and Mia, to share us their experience in this topic. Now, before I pass over to them, allow me to walk you through high level, who are we, what we do in Adaptavist. Okay. Let me just, okay. Now, my name is Cliff. You can call me, my name is Clifford, you can call me Cliff. I'm looking after the projects for entire APAC region. We represent Adaptavist. Adaptavist is a global organizational IT firm headquarters in UK. We founded in 2005. Yeah, it's already 17 years in the business present. Our key focus and mission is to help organizational transform and find a business advantage in the climate of constant change. This is where the digital transformation coming in, right? And right now, our total size of employees, we have reached to 576 globally, and 10% of them, 57, is based out in Malaysia. So Malaysia team is the one who look after the entire APAC business projects. Yeah, we are in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Headquarters in UK, you can find us in 16 countries, including out of UK, USA, Canada, Spain, and Malaysia. So globally, we are the platinum partners of Atlassian. So with Atlassian, you can see us like they are expert consultants. We provide end-to-end solution right beginning from licensing. If you want to procure license, come to us. Implementations, ITSM, DevOps, cloud migrations, even managed service. Yeah. In fact, our journeys with Atlassian is more than 10 years. So we also built some plug-in applications to support the journey. So that is a little bit background about our relationship with Atlassian. So who is our clients? Most of the Fortune 500 customer is the customer that have been with us since we started till now. So besides Atlassian, we also work closely with other partners like Slack, GitLab, and AWS. Okay, so now before I pass on to Nigel, I would like to say this for those who wanted to raise question. There is the question at the bottom. Yeah, please raise that so that we will try to answer the Q&A at the end of the session. And we are going to launch the pool to ask a very basic question to understand, are you currently the user of Atlassian? Yeah, so this will help us to understand you better. Okay, so without further ado, pass on to Nigel. Over to you, Nigel.
Thank you so much for that, Cliff. Hello, everyone. My name is Nigel. I'm a solutions engineer here at Atlassian. And on today's webinar with Adaptavist, we will touch on the following topics. Who is Atlassian from a high-level perspective? what exactly Jira Service Management is and how it can help your teams drive open collaboration. And then lastly, how Adaptavist can help with your digital transformation moving forward. So let's start off with who is Atlassian. So in the snapshot, Atlassian has been around for about the past 20 years. It started off with a really small team in Sydney and has grown to be utilized in over 190 different countries globally. We focus on tools that help teams collaborate, share knowledge, and define workflows that's able to help them complete projects really quickly. We have over 8,000 remote employees globally, and we really believe in working remotely. And we have over 5,000 different applications on our marketplace to help you utilize our tools with your workflows and really create a custom experience that's going to work really well for your team in order to give your customers the best service there is. Overall, the Atlassian mission is to help unleash the potentials of every team. And this is really centerfold when it comes to how we build our tools, the focus of all the different features that we provide, and just how we work internally as a company. And we want to be able to push that mission forward into other teams, into other companies as well. And what we want to do is overall just help your team unleash their own potential and work closer and better together. When we take a zoomed out view, we work with a lot of different companies globally across many different industries. And this is just a really short snapshot of the different kind of organizations that we've helped their teams work better together and really unleash their own potential. There's a lot of brands on here you are probably aware of. Airbnb is a really great company to speak about. Being a cloud-based company, providing, utilizing the Atlassian tools to help their teams. We've worked with Square, Domino's across the APAC region, and a number of different companies. So we've seen many different challenges, and we've seen our solutions really help solve those challenges as well. Over the past few years, IT has really changed. The ecosystem has really developed. How teams work together has fundamentally changed as well. And we've created some reports with Gartner and Forrester. We've seen that majority of enterprise workloads are going to be shifted into a cloud environment coming up into 2025. About 68% of infrastructure teams are implementing a DevOps method, really trying to connect teams to work better together, allowing them to share workloads in a more transparent way. And we've also seen that employees just nowadays have a much bigger expectation when it comes to their work tools. When they're using their own personal tools, such as banking platforms, email clients, they also have that same level of expectation when it comes to their work tools. They have to be easy to use. The UI has to be really nice and simple, and it has to allow them to get things done a lot quicker and smoother. And we've seen a lot of these businesses that come to us sort of share this common challenge of, how do we move into a cloud environment? What are the best tools that we can use? What do those workflows look like? And we really work with Adaptavist to help shape and tailor to match your use case and really help solve those problems. Next, we're going to have a chat about Jira Service Management, which is our tool, which overall helps that overarching issue of teams working together. We want to create a standardized way across all the different business units. We want to allow the work to be shared, the work to be transparent, and give the right workflows to the team so they can follow a really structured way of getting things complete. And this is what Jira Service Management has been designed and built for. Ultimately, we want to deliver an amazing experience across all the teams so that experience can fall onto the shoulders of your customers. The better experience that your teams have, then the better customer experience they're going to provide to their clients and their customers as well. And we follow a very simple flow. We start off with a request from a particular business unit that then goes into a centralized way of working and going through a particular approval process. We allow the teams to collaborate together. And then we provide the right data and analytics so the team can make strategic decisions, able to iterate a lot faster and really work in a really agile environment. So this is the overarching value that we want to try and provide. So let's firstly have a quick look at what we mean by requests. So every team across all the different business units that you have, that could be IT, could be HR, customer service, customer success, however you structure your business, Jira Service Management is able to really be tailored to help you achieve your goals. When it comes to request management, we keep everything nice and centralized. The entire business goes into the one location in order to submit requests to the right team. This view itself can be customized to match the look and feel of your brand. We have an automation engine on the back end that's going to help drive additional requests with certain processes. And we also then move into that approval process. We want to keep everything nice and streamlined. We want to keep things simple. We want to have out-of-the-box solutions that are very templated so the team can be up and running really, really quickly. We want to be able to have these request forms and these queues completely customizable. And we also want them to match every team's personal service level agreement, their SLA. And I'll show you in just a moment what that looks like. As well as having a centralized location of understanding the tasks of each team, we also want to be able to utilize the employees in each team, take their tribal knowledge and become the authors of their own knowledge base. And Jira Service Management coupled with Confluence, which you can get a free edition and connect, allows you to really create and collaborate and keep all the work centralized. You can use that to create different project plans for your team meetings, and even have workflows that you can pull into Jira Service Management as well. And lastly, once we start gathering all this information, we need a way to then analyze that information to make strategic decisions when moving forward. So with Jira Service Management, we have an analytics engine which allows you to build and share your own custom dashboards. These are all out of the box, so it's really low code, really simple to use and really easy. And ultimately, what we want to do is just drive velocity. We want to drive the collaboration between the teams. We want to be able to deliver value really fast. And we really empower teams to deliver that value without the cost of complexity or legacy-based systems, keeping it really nice and easy from just how they use Jira Service Management overall. And we want to make all the work visible. So any person on the team, from an individual contributor to a manager to an executive, can actually get a good understanding of the amount of work that's coming into each team, keeping it very open and allow people to work together within the one location. And that's really key when it comes to driving agility as well. And then lastly, we want to take all these different business units, for example, developers and the ops team, and we want to allow them to accelerate the way that they work together by allowing them to have that visibility all within the one location. And this is what makes Jira Service Management very powerful, because it allows the team to get up and running really quickly, deliver that value very fast, make all the work visible, give you the right analytics so then you can make better decisions moving forward. And it's always about making small changes on a daily basis and keeping things nice and agile. Okay, so with Jira Service Management, it's not just for IT teams. It's really evolved, it's really changed over the years. And now Jira Service Management is used across all of the different business units, from IT to HR. And you might have other business units internally that isn't on the screen today. And Jira Service Management can really adapt to that as well. Some really key things to keep notice of is we have out-of-the-box templates for each business unit. And I'll show you in just a moment what that looks like. Very quick, very simple to set up. So we're really pushing that time to value. Once you implement a new solution, you want to be able to drive value from the team very quickly. You want to make it easy for them to use so there's low disruption to them. We want to keep everything nice and centralized and have a global service catalog of work that needs to be completed. And we have low code automation for you as well, where you can really click and drag and create the right automations in order for you to execute on the right request at the right time. So let us look at the HR business unit. On today's demonstration, I will go through the process of onboarding a brand new employee. This is a process that everybody on this call has been through. And we can all agree that we understand what a good onboarding looks like. You know, when you get your laptop on time, when you receive your building passes, when you get the right emails. And we want to help facilitate that, because when we onboard a new employee, we want to give them the best experience from the very start. So let's jump into a demonstration of Jira Service Management. Awesome. So what we can see here firstly is our help center. Help center can be customized for your look and brand. And we can see here on the center of the help center is all of the different business units, okay? So we have service desk, and we provide a little bit of a blurb. So the person making the request from the team gets a good understanding of what that business unit does. So in this example, service desk, we're here to help for all of your technology needs, okay? HR, from benefits to payroll, services, we have you covered. So we can customize this to have all of the right teams at the right time, have their own section within the help center. Each business unit is going to have their own way of working, and we can adopt their way of working and be very fluid. Jira is not structure. You don't have to follow our way to do things. We really adapt to how you do things. And that's really key when it comes to implementation and changing things digitally internally. So let's have a look here at human resources, okay? And keep in mind, we're going through the process of onboarding a brand new employee. So this is the very first step. The very first step of that process would be, well, I need to let the right people know at the right time that we're onboarding a new employee. So how do I do that? Well, firstly, we need to raise a request, okay? This allows us to get in contact with the HR department internally, that business unit. So when we start to raise a request, we have all these different, we have a variety of different ways that we can connect with that team. So I can either, generally just ask a question to HR, okay? I don't have to send emails or jump into Slack where work can get lost or it might slip through the cracks. We want to keep everything nice and centralized. In this example, let's go through employment, onboarding, and offboarding, okay? So we've got here some additional options. Employee onboarding, we can transfer an employee. We can also do employee offboarding, but let's focus on getting brand new talent into our business teams to help grow the business. Because I've selected this request, it's automatically created this dynamic form that we can follow. And this is very important because when we are going through this particular request of employee onboarding, we need the right information at the right time. So this helps the team really understand the information that they need to provide to HR in order to get this person into their team. So let's have a look at an employee name. Let's use Susan today as the example. And we can see here that there's a red asterisk. That simply is letting us know it is a required field. And we'll say that Susan is starting in 1 month's time. Which region will she be in? Well, let's have a look here and let's choose from these options. So because this form is dynamic and we're pulling from our configuration management database, we'll just use the phrase database for now. It allows us to pull directly from that database and only have the right regions to select from. So I can't make any mistakes. All the information is there, keeping things nice and easy, getting the right information at the right time, very important. And now it's asking us which office Susan is going to reside in. Well, these options got generated because we selected the APAC region, okay? So if we were to expand our business and add another region, let's say we opened up a region in Singapore, for example, we might add that to our database and that option will be available here as well, okay? And let's just fill out some information here. The employee type will say Susan is full-time. The department, We've got here all the different departments that are located in Australia, Sydney HQ. Again, we're pulling in the right information. And we'll say Susan is a solutions engineer, okay, just like myself. And we'll say that she is a specialist. Okay, job title, not required. So for now, I'll just leave this blank. The manager, again, is going to pull from this employee type, okay? And we'll say that Alana is the manager. And employee equipment needed. Now, for this example, this is very crucial because employee equipment is needed. This is actually going to trigger automations in the back end. Because when it comes to equipment, we have to go through to the IT team in order to request a laptop. So we can take those processes that you already have internally, build them into the structure. Okay, we take what's already there, we make it easier for the team. We can add additional notes if we wanted to, but let's send off this request. So once we sent off the request, we're going to get this confirmation page. It's going to show us all the information that we selected. We've got the status that this is an open status, meaning work needs to be done in order to get this to a closed status. Notifications are turned on. So this is very important because I've made the request and we can see that, Nigel, Engel, myself raise this request. Anytime an action gets taken on the request, I'm going to get notified. That can be on my mobile phone, that can be email notifications, and we can customize these notifications as well. So now that request is done, let's go into the back end of Jira and have a look at the platform itself. Okay. So what we can see here, let me do a refresh. Okay. And what we can see here, this itself is where all the teams would go to in order to see the work that is coming into their business unit. So if we have a look here on the top left-hand side, we can see that human resources, this is the business unit that we are in. And if we have a look at projects, we've got here a number of different business units, and I'll show you the differences between them as well towards the end of the demo today. And if we have a look at this queue, let's take notice of a few really crucial things. Firstly, the request type. So we can see here employee onboarding. We've got some questions for HR. We have some kudos to give as well. So we can see all of the different types of requests are all centralized. We have the person who is in charge of actioning that request. We have the status of all those different requests, exactly when they were created, and also the SLA, the time to resolution. So your team can get up in the morning, have a look here, see all the different requests that are part of their queue, have a look at the time to resolution and get a really good understanding of the kind of work that needs to be actioned on. If we look at the old way of doing work, that might be through an email, it might be a Slack message, it could even be a message on WhatsApp directly to an employee. But by keeping things nice and centralized, work can never get lost. We have a really solid way of how to track and manage all of these different requests. So we put up a poll there, so please check out the poll and please answer if you can. So now let's jump into the request itself, okay? So now me being the owner, okay, in this example, Ryan Lee is the owner of this request. Ryan's going to get notified, okay? He's going to get an email coming in, hey, this is an item that you need to action as well. So we have multiple different ways to let the right person know at the right time. They need to get some work completed. And if we have a look here, there's a few things that we take notice of. Firstly, all of the questions that we ask on the form are all these different inputs on the request itself. So we get a good understanding, being the person who needs to action this request, the region this employee is in, their office, and all the relevant information at the right time. Now, they're only going to get the right information because all of these inputs are being pulled from the database that we've set up, okay? And if we have a look down, we can see here all of the linked issues. And we can see here, because we selected that they needed, equipment, they needed to get authorization into their office, they need to get the right badges. We're able to see here another linked issue. So this linked issue, okay, and I'll open this up in a new tab, and we'll go between the tabs as well. So this linked issue was created through our automation. On the form itself, I didn't place a request through to the facilities team, but we can see that from automation, we created a brand new request. We sent that request through to the right team. That team itself is only getting the information that's relevant to them, okay? Set up new hire, Susan with an office and badge. Great. Well, I know from the facilities team, Susan's located in APAC, she needs a badge for Sydney. Now, all I'm going to do is action this request, okay? And that's very important because we're only providing the relevant information through to the right team in order for them to take actions that is going to help onboard this employee. So all of the work is centralized, it's all kept in the one location. Everybody knows where to go and what to do at the right time. So we'll go back to the parent request, okay? So we'll consider this a parent request because we have some child requests, okay? Or these linked issues, okay? Which are all relevant to this overarching idea of onboarding this new employee. So if we have a look on the right-hand side, there's a few things to take notice of. So firstly, we can see the status of this request is in progress, okay? We also see the SLA. Now these SLAs can be customized and we can change them to match what the team's SLAs are. How long is it going to take, or how much time are we willing to budget towards these kind of requests? And this can all be customizable for you. We can see the details, okay? Who submitted this request? The reporter. The request type, the priority of the request, when is it due, and also the suggested laptop as well. So because this suggested laptop is pulling from Insight, which is our CMDB, a database, we can actually get a good understanding about how this asset internally interacts with other assets in the business or even other business units. And this laptop automatically got assigned to this employee because if we have a look here on the right-hand side, we can see that we've connected this laptop through to these specific roles. Now we chose Susan to be a specialist, okay? And we can see here that this MacBook Pro 16 Space Gray is connected to a specialist role. So what does that mean? Well, when we are onboarding a new employee and we're selecting the right team, that team member is automatically going to be assigned the right laptop or the right equipment, depending on their location, their role. So when this request goes through to the IT team, they know the right equipment to send out, so they're not sending out anything incorrect. And we can also see that this is, that we have 5 units of this laptop in stock. If this was 0, then that person on the team would know, hey, I need to now put a request in to restock these items. And we have here a lot of different metadata that we can have a look at as well. So let's say, for example, we have sent out the laptop, we sent out the right badge. Let's now complete this process here. So we'll now change this request to done. Okay. It's now going to go through to final review for the HR team to give their final touches, to send out the right emails, do the right thing at the right time for them as well. So this is how we are able to help centralize all of the work within the one location. We are able to help the teams collaborate more effectively. We get a good understanding of the work that needs to be done. And if you took notice here, because we changed the status to done, that item, that request has now been removed from the overall work that needs to be completed. So things are always moving, things are always in motion. And this is how Jira is able to, add a lot of value to the team as well. So I'm going to pause there for a moment. And I'm now going to hand over to Rizwan, who's able to now speak more about Adaptavist and how they are able to assist you with the overall digital transformation of your business. Thank you so much for watching the demo.
Thanks for the introduction and the fantastic demo, Nigel. Hi, everyone. My name is Rizwan Hasan, and I'm one of the consulting leads here at Adaptavist. I've been on the Adaptavist team for over 5 years now, and I've been an active user of the Atlassian ecosystem of tools for over 10 years. So in that time, I've used the software quite a lot and developed and deployed solutions to problems using the Atlassian platform for many of our customers. Flexibility of the tools. Now I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about how professional services at Adaptavist helps business and technical teams get the most out of their platform and the investment that they make. Adaptavist is one of Atlassian's oldest and largest solution partners, and our professional services team has partnered with some of Atlassian's largest customers on finding innovative ways to solve their business problems. Professional services can support in many ways. We are very flexible with our customers. We tend to really focus and really help customers the most with is strategic advisory, configuration management, scalability and performance, and offering flexible kind of custom services for our customers. Next slide, please. Thanks. It's mostly IT professionals. I'd like to present on a topic that's quickly becoming an area of interest in the collaboration space, which is something called enterprise service management, or ESM for short. So what is it? ESM is a practice that is proving to accelerate digital transformation within businesses, regardless of function, sector, or industry. It's a concept that is based on the well-known and long-standing best practices of ITIL, which I'm sure a lot of you know, that provide guidance for ITSM. However, in today's connected and collaborative enterprise, the definition has been disrupted and how we think about ITSM is changing. Nigel touched on this a little bit with the demo of Jira Service Management. In essence, we are expanding the definition by applying ITIL principles to the rest of it, to shift the thinking of traditional as a cost center to an enabler for innovation and business value. I have a use case that I'll touch on in just a moment from one of our customers to illustrate my point. But first, let me briefly talk about the approach in general and how we start to think about how ESM can unlock unrealized business value through collaboration. Next slide, please. So how do we approach this? So we through 4 dimensions of ITIL, organizations and people, information and technology, partners and suppliers, and value streams and processes. So what I want to talk about right now is cases. Nigel, I think it's the slide right before this. Yeah, this one. So I'd like to talk through one of our customer use cases. This customer is one of the largest water and wastewater services in the United Kingdom. They approached us with a specific challenge and wanted our input on how to build a collaborative system on the Atlassian platform. So essentially, our use case here was that we needed to build a platform that teams of engineers and administrative staff could collaborate on to triage requests for water valve pressure inspections across the UK. These inspections could come from 3 sources, and the legacy tracking system that they were using was slow, clunky, no automations, and didn't make it easy for the engineering or the administrative staff to collaborate and improve the way they improve the on-site inspection process. Next slide, please. We had to agree on what the business requirements were to actually create this new system. And what we came to the conclusion was all we really needed was an easy to use system that had all the information in one place, automation to send staff reminders about inspections, and a way to record and document infringements, plus the capability for engineers to easily arrange appointments and follow-ups for these inspections. So the process. This is how we worked with the customer. So first, we met over Zoom a few times to understand the business problems and build some trust. Then we were invited to a 2-day on-site engagement to have an in-depth conversation about the culture, the process, and the tools that our customer was using. We decided after those 2 days that the best way to move forward was to build a proof of people to test out the system and gather some feedback. We built a POC using a test environment and had both engineers and administrative staff role play an inspection. So essentially doing their job in the new system. Slide, please. So here's a snapshot of the solution that we built, the platform and the applications. I'm not going to go over too much into detail about all of this, but we ended up using Jira Service Management as it was one of the easiest tools that we found to raise requests for inspections. Jira Software for capturing kind of standard information about the inspections, and Confluence for recording all the information in one place and automating the creation of inspection documents. We also use 2 Adaptavist applications, Script Runner for Jira and Script Runner for Confluence, to automate data, a automation engine that we use to be able to speed everything up. This POC development did not take very long, just a few weeks, and included a few remote sessions where we demonstrated the POC with the staff themselves. So, realized benefits. This is the feedback that we've gotten from the customer so far. This is actually still a live engagement with the customer. We're still working with them on a few other things after we built this POC. But so far, what feedback that we did kind of capture was we built something that was fit to purpose, fit to the actual process and the problem they were trying to solve, right? Not just a piece of software, but actually helping them with a real problem they were having. We simplified a complex internal service management process with some scripting. And when I say scripting, it's really just a few scripts, something that now Atlassian's cloud platform and that low and no code solutions that are available. This was actually pretty easy. We had integration capabilities to both push and pull information with the legacy system that they were using. So they didn't really have to rely on the old system. They could work in the new one. And above all, it was flexible, and the folks that we actually worked with were upskilled, because that's teaching them also how to use the software in a better way, so they could carry out the new process and maintain it on their own as well. Most importantly, it was a seamless experience for the business customer, and we were happy with that. So next steps, kind of accelerating next steps with Adaptavist. We offer quite a few different options on how to engage and help customers. These are some of the most common ways we engage. We can start off with an assessment where we offer a big picture perspective on your system. Sometimes a third party coming in, actually looking at your system with experience of looking at other systems really helps. We can develop a change management roadmap for implementing a new system if you have one in mind, or if you need our help to find one. We often can design custom service catalogs for businesses and technical teams based on your requirements. And we also could take care of all of it and offer end-to-end managed services where we host and administer the Atlassian platforms with our teams, which are mostly based in Malaysia, actually. And we let our customers focus on actually running their business. All right, so I just wanted to just tell that story really quickly. I think I'm going to pass it off back to Cliff now to how everyone here can reach out to Adaptavist after this webinar. Cliff, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, for those who have some question on the products, on the processes, the offering, and or technical related question, do raise your question on the Q&A. There's a Q&A function, yeah, in the Zoom. You can raise your question now. Then actually some of you also text me separately in personal messaging platform asking some question. So while waiting for the rest, maybe, yeah, I can consolidate one or two and ask Riz or Nigel to answer this. Yeah, one of the questions come to me is, what is the key differences between Atlassian Jira versus other tools like Monday.com or GitLabs? And maybe Nigel can help to answer this.
Yeah, definitely. So I find like a lot of tools try to have like an all-in-one solution, and they try to put like a lot of features into the one location. Sometimes you're not utilizing a lot of these different features, which really increases the cost of implementation and actually all the licenses as well. With Jira, we like to separate a lot of our products, so you can be very tailored into how you're going to build out your solution. So we try to keep the costs quite low. We try to give you all of the relevant features depending on the work you're trying to execute on. So for example, utilizing Jira Service Management as the centralized way to take all requests from all different team members across all different business units. You can then bolt on Confluence, which allows you to then document, gives you a centralized view of having all your meeting notes, all your processes, all your flows. With us, it's all about time to value. So it's very simple to set up. Relatively low hanging, which allows you to really take it and implement it into the team. The training curve is very quick and easy. We try to keep everything very streamlined and very fast to get up and running as well. And that's why we really rely on Adaptavist to help our clients when it comes to that implementation and the digital transformation and the strategy side. And we like to work in a partnership model where we're able to help provide the right tools and just really help people really tailor their solution around the set of tools that we have as well.
Okay, good. Yeah. The next question come to me is, what is the next step if I would like to have a proper demo or project discussion? Okay, maybe that I will answer. Yeah. If you look at the screen, we have this common email. You can reach us via this email. Raise your interest if you're looking for demo, project discussions, and business task base. More than happy to respond to you within a day or two. Yeah. But having said that, at the end of this webinar, our marketing colleagues will also send out the white papers to share with you what we have covered and put you the recorded link of the webinar, yeah, so that you can play and share it out with your other colleagues who can't join. And this is where we're going to start the discussion. Frankly speaking, there's no any perfect demo because we need to understand your environment, your requirements, then we can build accordingly to address some of your interests. As you know, Atlassian or Jira come in a bay system. We need to create the use case. We need to put in the right setup, yeah, to show you what you really want to see. Therefore, different company use it for different purpose. Telco, banks, insurance firm, governments. So they all have their different workflows, system architectures. So there's no one ruler can fit all. Yeah. Right. So I hope that answered the question. You can write your Q&A, your question in the Q&A. All right. Okay. Another question here. I understand Jira is a simple tools and customer can do the deployment by themselves. What values Adaptavist could offer in Atlassian implementations? Maybe this is a question to Riz. Yeah, Riz, you're able to answer this?
Sure, absolutely. So one of the most common things I see when I work with a customer immediately, and a common story about the Atlassian platform is that it is very easy to get started, right? Where you don't need much help. The UI and the way that people could start to track work and get started is very, very easy. Where it starts to get a little bit difficult is when you start to scale, and is when you want to use the shared system and a shared way of working across different teams, across different people, across different processes. And there is a certain point where there needs to be some sort of guardrails and management of the system. And what we've seen in about the 10 to 15 years that we've been doing consulting with the Atlassian ecosystem is real ways to do everything perfectly. Everything is a little bit different, but there are best practices that we can follow. A fundamental knowledge of how you set up the back end of the tools and configure the tools so everyone is speaking the same business language. And having that information sooner rather than later typically helps. Because what we typically see when we go to a customer, like a large customer, for example, of say 5,000 users, is it's very easy to get started, but then very quickly you have lots of silos of work everywhere. And there comes a need where people have to collaborate. So how do you collaborate? And part of collaboration is speaking the same language and having the same type of processes in mind. So even if it's just a short consultation, we find some customers before starting to scale or building complex solutions, because we can probably show you an easier way to do it with less maintenance and less complicated, because we're all about simplicity. And that's how we choose to use the platform and help our customers. Hope that answers the question.
Okay, another one just recently text to my WhatsApp. Our firm is having other application currently in use. How could Jira integrate with third-party applications? Anyone of you want to answer this?
Yeah, sure. I can jump in here, Cliff. So there's a number of different ways that Jira allows you to integrate. So we have our marketplace, has over 5,000 different applications, and we rely on external developers to really build those integrations. So firstly, it will just depend on the platform that you're trying to integrate, what road we're going to take for that integration. We also have an API, which allows you to custom build your own specific integrations. Definitely something that you would rely on Adaptavist to really scope out and really get a good understanding. It will depend on, like I mentioned, the application, what kind of data you're trying to get into Jira, what does that look like, how is that going to benefit the team, and then also the integration method as well. So something like that, I definitely would fall on Adaptavist, booking a call, really having a thorough discussion around what that would look like. They'll be able to go behind the scenes and really provide a proof of concept, a POC around that integration as well. But fundamentally, we have our marketplace and we have our API as well, which allows you to integrate almost anything into our environment.
Nigel, the same person, he say question to you further to just now. How easy the deployments of Jira in terms of timeline and cost?
Yeah, definitely. So timeline, like we have like a lot of teams, 2 or 3 man teams can download, Jira from the internet and log in and start using it for their team. But when it comes to larger scale projects, it really does depend on a lot of different things. Are we going from an on-prem to a cloud environment? How much data we're moving across? What are the applications? How big is the team? How many licenses do we need? So if I myself today, I could jump on, I could get Jira and I could do it myself for like a really small man team. But when it comes to actually the scale side of things, the cost, the deployment time, it does depend. There will be some deployments in 4 months. We've seen quite large organizations, 5,000 plus, which might take, a year's time. The deployment cycle could be a phased, it could be starting brand new. So once again, that's probably better to have a much larger conversation. Definitely like booking time with Adaptavist to go through that so they can really understand your needs. But it does vary per person, and getting an understanding of your current situation is really going to help answer that question of deployment time and cost.
Okay. One of the participants can't join today. His question is here. They are currently on the server, Jira server. Understand that it's going to discontinue by year 2023, right? So they are in the midst of putting some plan for cloud migrations. So question to Riz is what kind of value Adaptavist can come in to help them on the cloud migrations, because they was told that they can even do it themselves. Yeah. So yeah, question to Riz.
Sure. So there's a number of ways that we can help. Part of it, what we do a lot of right now is something Nigel actually just touched on, is getting the current kind of assessment of where you are and what data you want to move over. Sometimes we find that there's some data that does not need to move over, right? It's archived data, and that just adds more time and effort into a migration. Depending on what types of configurations and integrations and third-party applications you might have in an on-prem installation of Jira, they all have migration paths. Each application has its own migration path, and we've worked with quite a few and understand the best way to actually do that. So I mean, in the way that we could help is we could save you time. And I think that's the biggest metric of value there, is we can save you time on actually doing it, because yes, you can absolutely do it yourself. And you will run into roadblocks. You will run into things that you don't expect. We still do that. We still run into things that we don't expect, because the truth is these platforms are evolving very quickly. Atlassian is evolving very quickly. The third-party applications are evolving quickly, and the business needs and the technology surrounding it is also evolving very quickly. So with an expert's help, we can help you do it faster.
Maybe also to add on to that, that is from my personal, sometimes customer tends to ask, what are those risks if we do it ourselves? Maybe Nigel can help to answer this.
Yeah, definitely. So just to touch on what Rizwan mentioned, is those roadblocks, right? Sometimes if you don't know, you just don't know. So when it comes to actually moving data, you have to analyze that information firstly. You then have to really get a good understanding of the migration process and working with the Atlassian team. And our partner network has been doing that for years. So they have really solid understanding of the entire process. They're able to save a lot of time getting you from A to Z, getting you to an environment that's going to be up and running that you can share across the entire team. Also, when it comes to the administration side, setting up the permissions and structuring overall how the team's going to be utilizing the platform, that's also another thing to consider as well. And also actually physically doing the migration. It's not just as easy as, importing a CSV file into a system and then the information is going to be there. It does take time. It is going to take a lot of energy to get to a position from a prem to the cloud, and utilizing somebody else's resources that has been doing it day in, day out for a long time with that environment. Overall, it's going to be a lot easier because they'll be able to come to you with a solid solution, a solid path to take, and they'll be able to execute on the work while you can, go back to do what you need to do with your team and utilizing your time more effectively. So I think that's a benefit to it as well.
Yeah, and that the implication also go with the license, because right now they were also thinking to do so. Well, is there any hybrid sort of arrangement when it comes to licensing? This also happens to those who are currently on the data centers. They want to move to clouds, right? I'm sure Atlassian will also provide that sort of grace periods, yeah, for them to migrate over. Yeah, it's not a question, but I'm just saying out, yeah, customer can come to us. We're more than happy to help you to put in some strategy on the licensing. Like recently, we have clients have few instances they want to merge in one. So during that interim, they are paying on a monthly basis, very costly. So they need someone to come in to help them to do so. So this is also part of the services we offer. Okay, so one last question for today. Let me see. Oh, is Adaptavist having local presence in Malaysia? Who is the project delivery resources come from? Okay, I think this candidate, this audience may join after I do the opening. Yes, we are the IT firm from UK, but we have an office in Malaysia. We have the legal entity set up for Adaptavist Malaysia Sdn Bhd from year 2018. So we're already 4 years old in Malaysia. Our office is located in Eco City, and currently we have about 57 headcounts in KL office. These are the team who serve for the AirPack customer projects. Yeah, but they're very naturally. We also share some resources. If we need someone from the other part of the world to chip in to help out on some projects, we always do that. So to answer your question, yes, we are the core who support you, but we also will have some mixtures of the team that come in from different parts of the world to handle some of the project requirement for you. Okay, so that's all for now. I don't see any other question. Yeah, for Nigel and Riz, do you have anything to say to the audience today before we end this?
Just from my side, thank you so much for spending your time with us today to go through how Jira Service Management is going to help transform your team and really bring you into the future. Thank you so much. Any questions, please reach out to Adaptavist. But thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, and I want to thank Nigel for also hopping in and helping out quite a lot here and doing a great demo, and Cliff for organizing all this, and Susan behind the scenes, I know, who's off camera, but did a lot of work to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
also thanks for the speakers. I know Nigel is based in Australia. It's afternoon your time. For Rizwan and Susan, our marketing, they are all from Europe, yeah, UK. So it's 4 a.m. their time. So touched for having you all today, helping us to share your experience. Great session. Hope this is not the only chance we talk to you. We're going to have more series beyond this. For those participants, if you want to have a separate demo, separate discussion, either you can reach out to me or reply to the email on the screen. Then we can serve you beyond this. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time. Have a good day. We see you soon. Bye.